My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and we're continuing our study of the resurrection through the doctrine of the new heaven and the new earth. Now, I want to take the time to show you how what the Bible actually says about the new heaven and new earth affects the futurist doctrine of the new heaven and the new earth. And we could do this in a variety of ways. Number one, in the dispensational paradigm, at the new heaven and new earth comes at the end of the millennium and brings in the eternal state. Now, mind you, in the millennium, there is evangelism in the dispensational view, all right? So that's not what we're dealing with. However, in the amillennial world and in the postmillennial world, you have men such as Kim Riddle-Barger and others who posit a future time. And by the way, Kim Riddle-Barger is an amillennialist. You have men such as James Jordan, a reformed amillennialist with whom I had a debate in Florida. And then you have the postmillennialists such as Ken Gentry, and those who are kind of an admixture of that, who don't really know what they are except they're futurist, men such as Sam Frost. Okay? In each of these paradigms, you have the view that at some point of time, Jesus returns from heaven as a 5'5" Jewish man in a physical body, and he rules from Jerusalem. He rules the world from Jerusalem. Now, this is in a utopian world. In my debate with Joel McDermott in 2012, he affirmed the coming future establishment of a physical kingdom on earth. Harold Eberly, with whom I had a formal public debate, said the same thing. Now, again, this is supposed to be a utopian world. It's the restoration of Eden, where there is no sin, ostensibly. Well, we have a problem, Houston. You know, just the other day, Sam Frost castigated me to no end because we were talking about the coming of the Lord, and I espoused that we are now in. Those of us who belong to Christ, those of us who are in Christ are in the new heaven and the new earth. We are in the new Zion. And so Sam Frost castigated me, and he said, okay, in the new creation, what does God deliver us from? And of course, he talked about the reality of sin in the new covenant creation, scoffing at the idea that there will be, in his view of things, that there will be sin, rebellion, in the new heaven and new earth. So here are those like Kim Riddle-Barger, Kenneth Gentry, Sam Frost, etc., etc. They affirm that in the new heaven and the new earth, there is no sin. There is no rebellion. There's nothing to be delivered from. Okay? You got that? Well, that's a problem for them. In Isaiah chapter 66, what do we find? We have the coming of the Lord in flaming fire. This is the time of the resurrection. This is to bring in the new creation. But what did we find yesterday? In this new creation, the survivors of the day of the Lord are sent to the nations to declare the glory of God and the name of God to those who had never known Him. And what would happen? They would be brought to Zion to serve and to obey the Lord, to be saved. So, if there is no sin in this new heaven and new earth that is proposed by both amillennialists and postmillennialists and those who are somewhere in between, if there's no sin, if it's a utopia, Number one, why doesn't everyone already know the name of the Lord? Number two, why is it necessary to declare to them the name and the glory of God? Number three, why is it necessary to bring them to Zion, which is where salvation is? Isaiah 46:13. Why is all of that necessary? Because you see, the reality is that in the new creation, all right, the New Jerusalem is the sanctuary. It is the temple of God, if you want to use that terminology. And it is the sanctuary from that which is outside. What is outside? Oh, well, dogs, liars, and those who work abomination. That's right. This is in the new creation. But it's the New Jerusalem that is the sanctuary. It's where deliverance is, deliverance from dogs, liars, those who work abomination. It is for those, the sanctuary, the city, is for those of the nations to come into it. Wait a minute, this is in the new creation. This is evangelism in the new creation. The indisputable reality is, folks, you know, when men such as Sam Frost scoff at the idea of deliverance from anything in the new creation, they are flying in the face of the explicit, overt, undeniable teaching of the Bible that in the new creation there is deliverance from those who are outside. There is deliverance for those who never knew the name of the Lord, those who had never called on His name, never known His glory. There is deliverance for them to come to Zion, the New Jerusalem, where there is sanctuary from their sin. There is salvation. Folks, that's in the new creation. So we'll see you on the flip side.